Hello and salutations and all the good things. Welcome to Rocky Mountain Rankings. I'm your host, Davey Stallo. And today, if you hadn't already guessed, we're going to be doing a band that I've put off and put off and put off, and for certain reasons which I will touch upon in this video. And of course, that is Metallica. Now, I know I did a video, I think last year, where I touched upon bands that I loved back in the day and I don't now, and one of them was, I believe, Metallica. Uh, and I do like Metallica still. It's just, well, let's start with that. Let's touch up on that before we do the ranking, shall we? I don't hate Metallica. I just don't like what they've become. And that is, they've unbecome Metallica, let's put it that way. To me. Maybe not to you, but to me, they have. Um, Back in, I believe, 84, 80, yeah, 84, 84, 85, um, Metallica was just coming on the scene. Thrash had yet to be named. Back then, thrash was called speed metal. I remember the first time I heard Metallica, uh, I was at a party out by Willard Bay. That's a man-made lake here, probably a couple miles from where I am sitting. Anyway, we were out there having a cake party. Me and my friends, a whole bunch of us, had the fire going, and somebody put on Metallica. Well, immediately there was people saying "right on," and there was those people saying "turn that crap off." I was kind of in between. I didn't know if I liked Metallica or if I didn't. I mean, it was good, but it was kind of a shocker. And there were the dissenting parties were saying, "I don't like speed metal. Turn that crap off. Speed metal sucks." Of course, they were outvoted, and it continued. And of course, me, I was still like, "This is different. It's the same, but it's different." I mean, and what I mean is, bands like I was into then, like, Black Sabbath. I still am. Black Sabbath, Judas Priest, Iron Maiden. They had their fast tracks, but this was really different from that. But as time went on, I became I came to love Metallica. I mean, Metallica could do no wrong. I the first time I saw them, they were touring with Ozzy. I went and seen them in the Salt Palace in Salt Lake. Very impressed. Of course, I was there to see Ozzy. So, and I was still then I still getting my Metallica legs, my metal legs. But as time wore on, I got the first three albums. I remember when Injustice for All came out. That album was how the same, but yet different. The sound. if you know if you're familiar with "And Injustice for All" or "And Justice for All," the recording of that album is just was weird. I mean, the songs are great, but there was no bass. Of course, I really didn't think too much of it at the time, but as time went on, I was like, yeah, there is no bass. There's no bass drum. I mean, there is, but it's very subtle. Of course, why they did this, I have no idea, but that's the first weird thing to come from Metallica. Of course, then along came the Black Album. The bass returned. Everything was great. Uh, Metallica was a hit success. Of course, you had people saying, "Oh, they've sold out. They're sellouts." Of course, people were saying that when they did Master of Puppets for a major label, which was fun. And Cliff Burton said it great. Said it perfectly. They'd be doing the same thing on whatever label they're on. They just changed labels. They didn't change their sound. They just changed labels. Of course, there's those people who are selling out. They're sellouts. Don't listen to them. But the Black Album was basically, sorry, it crumbs on me from my, I had a couple of cookies before I started this. But the Black Album was more, what do I want to say here? Kind of corporate metal. I may get a backlash on that, but when I say corporate metal, I mean they had their first hit, the first major hits. I know people say, well, Master of Puppets, played on the radio, but Enter Sandman, Unforgiven, they really cemented Metallica on the radio. Of course, people were fine with this. I was fine with it. I love the Black Album. It was great. Went to see him on tour. Of course, and then along comes Load. Now, from watching people, on different channels on YouTube, Pete Pardo and Bryce and all of them, there's a lot of people who are just turned off with everything that happened after the Black Album. I wasn't one of them, though. I was kind of wondering what is the guys in Metallica doing? What is James and Lars and Kurt and Jason doing? I mean, they cut their hair. Kurt got tattooed. Got a piercing right here. I'm like, what's going on with these guys? Of course, they were trying to fit in more with what was going on in the 90s. A lot of bands were cutting their hair. Not all of them. I was one of the few that refused to cut his hair to fit in. But I'd go downtown and here's all these high school kids and stuff with the short little haircuts and looking at me like, yeah, I was a lot older. I was in my 30s, but they're looking at me like, what's wrong with you, man? But that's the first crack I saw in the wall of Metallica. Then we had Reload. Not much, about the same as Load, maybe little bit higher. Uh, and still, everything was fine. I went to see them. They played at Weber State, and it's a great concert. Loved it. Had fun. But then along comes Saint Anger. I thought, cool. This sounds like it could be right on. I mean, hard as hell. A name like Saint Anger. Yeah, that's gonna be hard, heavy. You know, smash you in the face. Well, it smashed me right in the face. I I do not like Saint Anger. I'm sorry. I given it a chance. In fact, I listened to it right before or last night actually, just to make sure. Because sometimes you hear an album by a band and it doesn't click, so you put it away, and then a couple months later, or how long, go back to it, play it again, and then suddenly it clicks. And that's happened to me a number of times. It happened with Black Sabbath's Paranoid album. Didn't like it at first. Went back a few months later, listened to it again, loved it. Been a Black Sabbath fan ever since. So last night I decided, well, I'm going to listen to it one more time. Sorry. Nuh-uh. That, to me, is not Metallica. So the wall of Metallica, it just mega wall that they built just started crumbling down before me. I'm glad James got clean. I'm glad, everything's fine with him. But he's a completely different person. Nothing wrong with that. But him and Lars have changed so much. Of course, they're older, but the change hasn't been, to me, maybe not for you, but to me, not for the better. Death Mag- Death Med, God, that's me. Death Magnetic came out. So cool. I've hearing positive things about it, so I went and bought it. I thought it good, but after a while, it kind of soured. I haven't listened to it since. Then along came, what was the current one? Hardwired to Self-Destruct, which is better, but it has yet to set in with me. Maybe after some more listens, it will. But Metallica went from this godlike status with me to just boom. If they came and said, "Oh, guess what, everybody? We're playing a free concert. Everybody's invited," would I go see them? Probably not. Maybe I would, but I wouldn't be enthusiastic. Um, but yeah, that's my love hatred with Metallica. I love the old Metallica, the current incarnation of the band. I just can't get into it. They've just totally soured on me. Of course, the current incarnation: James Hetfield, Kurt Hammett, Robert Trujillo, and Lars Ulrich. You know, they're still jamming away, but and also what they did to Jason Newsted. Maybe Jason, there were some other things that we didn't see, but letting, basically treating Jason the way they did, especially at the beginning. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe, like I said, maybe he deserved to be kicked out of the band. Or, of course, a lot of people say he just left. And Dave Mustaine, well, they could have handled that a lot better. Especially when you get a recording contract, you head to New York City, and you get there, and then you tell your lead guitarist, "Oh, you're out of the band. Get out of here." Really? Of course, it was all for the better. I mean, look what Dave Mustaine's done. I think Megadeth's twice the band Metallica is, or was. So, but anyway, that's my take on Metallica, my love, hatred. I love their older songs and some of their current ones, but the guys, Lars and James, come on, give me a break, you guys. Give me a break. So anyway, should we get into this? Before we do, please subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Like the video, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment down below. Please leave your comments nice and clean. Rude comments will be deleted. Very, very rude comments will definitely be deleted. I mean, so anyway, let's get into this. Those who don't know how this works, I start with my least favorite, work up to my favorite. I will not be including Saint Anger, Death Magnetic, or Hardwired. I will not be including those because I do not own them. Well, no, I take that. I do own Death Magnetic, but I just decided not to include it because I haven't listened for so long. I was going to listen to it before I did this, but I just decided not to. So anyway, let's get into this. I'm going to do 7 albums here. And starting with number 7. Where's number 7? Now, probably going to piss off some hardcore Metallica fans with this one. Especially those who've been with the band since they started. Of course, Metallica started out in 1981. Put out their first album on July 25th, 1983 through independent label Megaforce Records. And that's the album we're going to start off with, is with Kill Them All. Yes, boys and girls. Kill Them All. Of course, there's the band back then. Bunch of old men now. Come on, Davies, you have a lot to say about that, don't you? Uh, Now, just because it's number 7 doesn't mean I hate it. It just means I don't reach for it as much as I do what's to come. You still got the a lot of the classic stuff they play, all the time, uh, and some that they haven't played for a long time. And that's another thing about Metallica is they record songs, but then they end up not liking a lot of the songs they recorded, and they will not hardly ever play them. But you got Hit the Lights. I mean, just hit you right in the forehead with that one. Four Horsemen. Um, Now, if I remember correctly, that one Dave Mustaine put on his first album, "Killing Is My Business. Business is Good." Under the name Mechanics. I remember when I first heard that on that album, I'm like, this sounds like the Four Horsemen. Of course, that's far as I know. I may be wrong. That was what the song was really supposed to be. It was called Mechanics. Different lyrics and all that, but I might be wrong. But anyway, the Four Horsemen is great. Then you got Motor Breath, which is all right. Jump at the Fire, which is all right. Anesthesia, Pulling Teeth, not a big fan. Whiplash is okay. Fathom Lord, I like that. No Remorse and Seek and Destroy, great. Mental Militia, great. But when I first heard this album, it just was. I don't know I didn't know what to think at the time. Eventually grew on me, but I just don't get into it as much as I did back when I was younger. So, anyway, let's see. Oh, Jason Newsted backing vocals on digital reissue. Oh, okay. So when they reissued this, Jason did some backing vocals. So anyway, that's number 7. Kill Them All. On to number 6. Okay, number 6. Released June 4th, 1996 on Elektra Records. One of the albums that signaled the first cracks in the wall, Metallica's metal wall. And that is Load. One of the ugliest album covers around. I mean, come on, guys. You could have come up with something better than that. Of course, here they are on the back with their cute little haircuts. And if you notice Kirk, I mean, he must have got his lip pierced just a couple of days prior, if not this day the day they did this photo shoot, because his bottom lip's very swollen. Because I remember looking at it and I'm like, what is wrong with his mouth? I mean, it was like somebody punched him. But yeah, no lyrics in here, if any, well, very few. Of course, you got and Jason reminds me, he looks like Don Henley. And then you got Lars over here on this side, looking like Ozzy. James. I don't know what he was going for there. Looks like he dyed his hair black. But I don't know. It's just like they decide to be totally different when they're. I don't know. But the music, a lot of people don't like these two albums, this and the one that came after. I do. Um, Not as much as what's to come. Uh, I remember hearing the Until It Sleeps as a single. Wasn't very impressed. So I was thinking, well, I hope the rest of the album's better, and it is. Starts out with "Ain't My Bitch," and 2x4, great couple of songs. The House of Jack Built's okay. King Nothing's great. Hero for the Day, all right. Bleeding Me, I love Bleeding Me, and The Cure. Poor Twisted Me and Wasted My Hate. No, Mama said no. Mama said no. I don't like that very much. It's okay. Thorn Within's all right. Ronnie and the Outlaw Torrent kind of falls flat at the end. So, hence why I put this number 6. But still, a decent album. So, definitely check these out. Just because I don't like them or don't really listen to them that much or they're not my favorite, you might love them. So, definitely go check them out. So, anyway, on to number 5, the top 5 at 5. Okay. Number 5. Album that really established Metallica. And put them up for the first Grammy nomination. Released August 12th, 1991 on Elektra Records. Talking about the self-titled or Z Black album. Watched the album cover ranking recently. Well, not recently, but not too long ago. And this was ranked at the bottom. And I agree. It's okay, but I don't know. But anyway, we're not here for the album covers. We're here for the music. I remember I was enthralled with this album when it first came out. I don't know if there's any pictures of the band here. Oh, yeah. Of course, this is back when the band was still sane. But Enter Sandman, I was enthralled with that. Sad But True, heavy song. Holier Than Thou is okay. The Unforgiven, love it, though not as much as I used to. Wherever We May Roam, love that one. I think out of all the songs, that would be my number 1 off this album. Don't Tread on Me is fantastic. Through the Never, love it. Some really heavy numbers there. Nothing Else Matters, okay. A Wolf and Man's all right. God Have Failed, My Friend Misery, and The Struggle Within. Again, good songs, but not strong ones. The album starts out strong and then just like Load, just falls flat on its face. But there's like I said, there's good heavy numbers here. With wherever in my room, and Don't Tread on Me, and Nothing Through the Never. Sad but True, of course. Sad but True and Enter Sandman. They played those to death on the radio. I really don't need to hear them anymore. Same with The Unforgiven. Though The Unforgiven is one of those songs that you really can't get sick of. So anyway, that's number 5. Probably a lot of you are probably going, how can you put that number 5? How can you put that above Reload? Well, you're about to find out. Okay. Released November 18th, 1997 on Elektra Records. The album I just mentioned. Reload. Better album cover than Load. And a lot better songs. Starts out fantastic with Fuel. Fuel, give me fire, give me that, it's my desire. The Memory Remains. Okay. Though not a good follow to Fuel. Devil's Dance, love that one. Love the Devil's Dance. The Unforgiven 2, love that one. Better Than You's, fantastic. Slithers, okay. Carp Demon, Baby, all right. Bad Seed, love that one. Where the Wild Things Are, so. Prince Charming, good. Low Man Lyrics. A lot of people don't like that song. I love it. I love that song. I don't know what it is about it, but I remember when this album came out, the same time as the movie The Postman with Kevin Costner. A movie that was much maligned and not given very good reviews. I loved the movie. It could have been better, sure. Could have been a lot better, but still, good movie. Low Man's Lyrics, just at the time, remind me of that movie for some reason. I mean, it just, the atmosphere of and there's one part in the movie where they're at some kind of little celebration dance at this committee where I believe, what's his face? Can't think of his name. He just passed away recently, too. He was the mayor of the town. He's a rock and roll singer. I'll be right back. This is gonna bug me if I don't figure this out. Tom Petty. Why couldn't I think of that? Yeah, he played the mayor of the town. But anyway, like I was saying, they were having a little celebration, and the Low Man's Lyrics, I couldn't help but think that would go with that little celebration so perfectly. The atmosphere that it holds with the atmosphere of that movie at the time, it just fantastic. Every time I listened to Low Man's Lyrics, I would think of that movie. I still do. So, if you've never seen The Postman, check it out. It's not the best movie Costner's ever done. You know, probably a lot of people say it's a dud, but I'd still like it. So, anyway, the last 2 songs on this album, Attitude and Fixer. Attitude I love. Fixer is okay. But all in all, a lot stronger album, to me at least, than the Black Album or Load. So, of course, there's the guys on the back. Don't you love it when this happens? And I believe this is the album that came out when I saw him last. Or I believe in 98. So, but anyway. I just hate what this happens. You drop it, and one of the little hinges breaks. So, okay, definitely check it out. Make your own determination. You know, maybe number one with you, maybe somebody you throw in the trash. So anyway, let's get on to number 3, I believe. Yeah, number 3. Okay. Released March 3rd, 1986 by Elektra Records. Their first major label release. Of course, that is Master of Puppets. Classic album cover. Of course, got the guys on the back. Last album with Cliff Burton on bass. It's too bad we got taken from us. Kind of makes you wonder, had he not been killed in that bus accident, what the band would have ended up doing. What would they sound like today? Would Cliff still be with them today? You know, who knows? But anyway, classic album. First one I bought of Metallica's. Of course, it starts out with Battery, of course. Great hard hitter, great opener. Then you go into Master Puppets, the thing that should not be. I believe, Jason said the heaviest number known to mankind, and I tend to agree. Welcome Home Sanitarium. Not one of my favorites. Good song, but not one of my favorites. Disposable Heroes, good. Leper Messiah, another heavy number. If that's not the heaviest number, then it's close to the heaviest. Orion, okay, instrumental. I'm not a big fan of instrumental by Metallica. Especially back then, it kind of bored me. Damage Incorporated is good. All in all, good solid album. I was glad we had at least 3 with Cliff on them. Been remastered 2017. They had a couple bonus tracks, Battery Live and The Thing That Should Not Be Live. But if you've never heard this album, definitely check it out. It's worth every second of your time. Anyway, let's get on to the top 2, shall we? Okay. Now my top 2, well, actually my top 3, flip-flopped. And this one was I almost put it my number 1. But the one I put at number 1 is just a shade better. I was watching Kara from Kara is a Reactor. And she was the first time listening to the album that's my number 1. And she just loved it. First time I'd heard it in years. And I haven't really listened to a lot of Metallica in quite a while. Of course, my love hatred with Metallica had something to do with that. But listening to those songs, I and watching her react just brought back memories, and I just thought, yeah, that when I sat down today and did this, I thought, no, that's got to be my number one. So this one's going to be my number two, and that's released September 7th, 1988, double vinyl, and Justice for All. There's the guys. Of course, Jason's first album, which, as I stated at the beginning of my show, his bass is non-existent. Lars' bass drum is non-existent for some strange reason. But anyway, still, they did reissue. Oh yeah, here it is right here. See, and Justice All was acclaimed by music critics for its depth and simplicity, although its dry mix and nearly inaudible bass guitar was criticized, which includes The Village Voice and others. And I tend to agree. Whatever reason James and Lars had, remains a mystery to this day. As far as I know, they've never come forward and said the reason why they watered down the bass. But starts out, again, another great track, Blackened, love it. And Justice for All. And Injustice for All. This and Master of Puppets, where they open the album, kind of reminds me of what Dio did with some of his albums. Started with a fast, heavy number, then went into the title track. He did that with Holy Diver, and then the Last in Line. So basically the same concept here. Hard, fast number, followed by the slower title track. There you go to The Eye of Beholders, which is great. And then to One. Song One, I do not like. I loathe that song. I know that people are going to say, well, that's Davies, that's one of the heaviest numbers. It's a classic. Maybe you do, not me. When I first heard it, I kind of liked it, but it was after I saw the video. And if you've ever seen the video, it's just turned me right off to this song. And to this day, whenever it comes on the radio, if I can, I will shut it off. If I can't, I will leave the room. I do not like that album. I loathe it to this day. So, and that's just me. And you're not going to change my mind. If you love it, that's fine. That's great. I'm not saying it sucks. I'm just saying I do not like it. And I will never like it. So, just thought I'd get that out of the way. Then we go into Shortest Straw, which is okay. Harvest of a Soul is great. The Frayed Ends of Sanity, love it, especially the beginning. When I first heard that, I'm like, oh, God. Somebody's been watching Wizard of Oz too many times. Who was it? James or Lars? To Live is to Die is okay. Uh, Dire Zeve's great. Um, so anyway, a couple of weaker songs plus one is the reason why I didn't put this at my number one. I'm sorry. That's the way I am. And you're not going to change me. Maybe someday, but not anytime soon. So, anyway, that was my number two. Of course, if you know your Metallica albums, you know my number one, and that is Ride the Lightning. Recorded July 27th, or released July 27th, 1984. Great album cover. Of course, the first four albums have great album covers. But this album, after listening to it, watching and listening with Kira on Kira is a Reactor. Go check it. Go check out her channel. Kira is a Reactor. All one word. But definitely check her out. She I believe she's Australian. But anyway, it starts out with fight fire with fire. Fight fire with fire. Just again. Start out with a heavy hitter. Then we go into the title song, Ride the Lightning. Fantastic. And I must say, one of the songs that Metallica do not like to play live for some reason. James comes out and says, there's certain songs that they do not like doing live, and this is one of them. Though I did see a live video, one of their concerts, they did do the Ride the Lightning. Of course, from whom the bell tolls follows, fantastic song. Fade to Black, fantastic. Trapped Under Ice, fantastic. Escape, fantastic. Creeping Death, fantastic. Of course, it ends with the Call of Cthulhu. The only weak number on this album. The only weak song. I remember back in the day when Metallica could do no wrong. When I was younger, I was working for a house cleaning company, and I had to go do a carpet. Anyway, one of the owners sent their son with me. I think he was like 12, 13 at the time. Son would to help me out. Anyway, I think I turned him off to Metallica. I was playing the Call of Cthulhu, and I just remember looking over at him, and he was looking at my stereo going, just give it a stink eye. I could tell he didn't like it, and I'm like, after that day, I'm like, I hope I didn't destroy a budding metalhead. But he did. He was looking at my stereo like, turn that crap off. And the Call of Cthulhu is kind of repetitive to me. I don't like it either that much. So it's the only weak song on this entire album. If I was to rank the songs, maybe I will someday. But if I was to rank them now, I think my number one would be Creeping Death. 2 would be Ride the Lightning. So, anyway, great, fantastic album. James and Lars need to revisit their older stuff and get some of their classic sound back. So anyway, there you have it. First 7 albums of Metallica ranked. So do a little recap here. Number 1, Ride the Lightning. Number 2, and Justice for All. Number 3, Master of Puppets. Number 4, Reload. Number 5, The Black Album. Number 6, Load. And number 7, Kill Them All. Kill all the record producers. So, anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Like I said, I've been debating whether, for a long time, whether to do Metallica. But I thought, no. Especially after watching Kira last night. I said, that's what decided it for me. I'm going to do it. So, there you go. Definitely check out their whole discography out, even their newer stuff. Where I don't like it, you might like it. In fact, they did a album with Lou Reed called Lulu. Yeah, Lulu. I've tried listening to it a couple times. I did last night again. And I'm sorry, but Lou Reed, a lot of people revere Lou Reed. I'm not one of them. I've tried to listen to some of his stuff, and it's just falls flat with me. So, but definitely check it out. It's totally different from Metallica. Metallica got a new album coming out, 72 Seasons. 72 Seasons. Looks like scheduled release date April 14th of this year, 2023. Oh, let's see. Yeah, upcoming 11th studio album by Metallica heavy metal band Metallica is set for release on April 14th by their own label, Blackened Recordings. Just by Greg Feldman. Feldman. That's how you pronounce that. He produced their previous album, Hardwired. So it's going to be interesting to see. Well, right now the album cover does not look appealing. In fact, maybe let me see if I can find it on my phone here. There's the cover of the new album. Now you can see kind of an M there to the side. Not promising. But, well, hopefully the cover is not an indication of, it usually isn't how the music sounds. 12 songs. Starts out with the titles track, 72 Seasons, followed by Shadows Follow, Screaming Suicide, Sleepwalk My Life Away, You Must Burn, Lux Eterna, Lux Etna, Crown of Barbed Wire, Chase Light, If Darkness Had a Sun, Too Far Gone, Room of Mirrors, and Inamorata, whatever that, Immorata. Interesting names, but a little over a month to go before that comes out. So it'll be springtime. Hey, in time for spring. So anyway, looking forward to checking that one out. I just hope and pray that it's good. I just hope that it puts Death Magnetic, Saint Anger to shame. But we'll see. Okay. Coming up, got more short videos of 45 years old coming out this week. Please check them out. My next rankings, I have no idea what I'm going to be doing. Like I said, I'm still trying to get back into the groove of things. One of my viewers asked me what my mother's favorite song was, or I don't know if she had really a favorite song or anything. I know she liked Elvis Presley. She loved Elvis Presley. She liked Roy Orbison. She wasn't into rock and roll per se, though, Roy Orbison and Elvis Presley probably closest she came. She was more into country. In fact, she tried to get me to go country. She almost succeeded. I used to listen to C.W. McCall and Merle Haggard and stuff like that when I was a lot younger, before I discovered Kiss. And that's what did it. She did like some of Man of War, which totally blew me away. In fact, I'd be on the computer, excuse me, and she'd go, put on the Vikings. I remember the first time she told me that, I was like, who the heck's the Vikings? Excuse me, dry throat. And she go, the Vikings. Oh, okay. Man of War. She really liked the songs off of their not Kings of Metal. Oh my heck. Got brain farts here today. Yeah, the album Gods of War. Particularly the last. She loved the whole album, but she pretty liked the last, second to last song, Hymn to the Immortal Warriors, which is classic. But she liked Blood Brothers and The Ascension and King of Kings, stuff like that. Which just totally caught me off guard when she admitted that. So her favorite song, I would say, Hymn to the Immortal Warriors. I would say that is her number one rock song or metal song. Um, but like I said, she loved Elvis Presley and stuff like that. But what particular song she liked from either her Elvis or Roy Orbison, I couldn't say. But when I was a kid, she'd watch the movies he did all the time. She had a lot of his albums. What happened to those albums, I have no idea. I haven't seen her album collection for years, and I think what happened is they're in the box someplace, which I don't think they're. I've looked through everything that she bought over from the house that we used to live in, but in the house we rented from or rented, there was a cabinet. It was a cabinet you could move. It kind of looked like a bar type thing, but it had drawers on the top and doors on the bottom. Had one double door right in the middle and two doors on the ends. And I think what happened, she forgot there was stuff in that cabinet because that's where she kept her record albums. And I think they got left in there. And the people who moved in after she moved out probably found them. So what happened to them? Who knows? Only they do. Of course, that was over 20 years ago. And I never thought to ask her about that until years later. And she all she could say is, I don't know what I did with them. They must be in a box someplace. But I've been through every single box she bought over. But anyway, it's too bad. She had a lot of Elvis, Roy Orbison. She even had, I think, the second Beatles album. What is this? What is that album called? The Beatles. Discography. Oh, here we go. Yeah, it was with the Beatles. Their second album, released in 1963. She had that album. I know me and my sister weren't too kind with it. I remember listening to it. The cover, when I last saw it, wasn't in too great a shape. It probably would be worth some bucks nowadays. But that's the only Beatles album that I remember her having was the second one. Was she a big Beatles fan? No. She went along with her friends back then, And of course, she liked some of the songs, but she just couldn't. She didn't understand the whole Beatlemania thing. She never did, ever. Though I remember a few times her watching a couple of their movies, Hard Day's Night and Help, but she wasn't really into it. She had a lot of other albums. It's really sad. I do have a lot of my grandmother's old albums. Of course, she was more into Lawrence Welk and what's his name? Como, Perry Como or something. I think that's his name. Still got her stuff. Maybe I'll pull that out and go through that. We'll see. So anyway, hope you enjoyed that. I did, especially listening to Ride Lightning again. Kind of bought my love for Metallica back a little bit. Um, and I'm just hoping that their new album that's coming out will be a good one. But we'll see. Anyway, have a good week. Definitely check out my other videos that are going to come out. Albums that are 45 years old. Got a ways to go. I'm doing 31 albums up to the 31st of March. This month's barely started. Here we are, the 6th. So got a ways to go. Anyway, check them out, and I will see you maybe next Monday with another rankings. We'll see what it might be, album covers. Who knows? So have a good one.